Hi everyone, this is Raleigh from Divination, and today I'm doing a special reading for someone. I promised them back in December that I would do this reading for them, and I kind of got really busy with stress and school, and I honestly kind of forgot about it. So today I'm doing it in the form of a video reading because, one, it will be a little bit faster to get the reading out, and it won't be so much that I have to type. But I'm also doing this reading a little bit different. As you can see, I have my Lenormand cards out. And that reason is this person is wanting to know what they can do to be successful with writing to get a draft finished by the end of the year, and so on and so forth. So what I've done is I've gone through my Lenormand deck, and I've taken the cards out that would be most useful for success. And I'm going to focus on these three cards, which is the book, the garden, and the sun. The book and the garden together often represent poetry, novels, things like that, and the sun is a card for success. So essentially the idea to focus on this is to figure out how to be successful in finishing this novel. So those are the three cards I'll be focusing on a bit as an energy, as well as this card from the Return of Spirit deck, which obviously is a card for writing. So essentially it's about how to write to finish this book and be successful about it. I'm going to be using two decks. I'm going to be using the Oracle of Visions, and I'm going to be using the Return of Spirit deck. I don't know exactly how long this reading will be. I'll probably pull one card from each deck for each question and kind of see how they play together. Excuse me. And I will probably shuffle each deck after every question, simply because there's 4 questions, and I feel like that's a more reasonable thing to do than to pull just the top 4 cards, because that may not be an appropriate reading. And excuse me, the dogs are barking at the garbage man, if you can hear the dogs. Hopefully they don't get the baby, because I fought for an hour to get her to sleep. So this first question that the client wants to know is what to do to get the first draft finished by the end of the year, essentially, by the end of 2017. And I may have to turn to the guidebooks for this, but I am actually planning to try to read these as intuitively as I can. And the first card I get, I believe, is Lady Luck. As you can see, she's got playing cards in her hair. She's got the diamond shapes. This card essentially tells me that you probably need to have a little bit of luck on your side, take risks, evaluate the odds, and I guess trust in yourself, because it also speaks of faith, or fate. So if you feel you were fated to, or destined to finish this first draft of the novel by the end of this year, you will attempt to do everything to make that possible. And for a little bit of possible clarification, I'm going to go to the Return of Spirit deck. Normally I read jumpers, that one didn't seem fitting. Oh, I forgot to put my phone on silent. I'll laugh if I draw the same card. Which I did not. Change of mind is what comes to this. This may indicate that you may have some sense of doubt, that you may not feel that you can finish this draft. This card is essentially telling you to get that mindset out, change your mind, become positive about it, and work towards your goal in order to essentially finish your fate if that is what you feel you are destined to do with the card of Lady Luck. Next is what to do that you haven't been doing. Though I will take this with a grain of salt if I were you, because this may or may not be true. Here's my phone anyway. Come on, thank you. Okay, that shouldn't go off anymore. Oh, and I do have a Facebook page if anyone is wondering. I will put that down in the description below. Once I finish the reading and obviously get this uploading. I had a feeling this card was going to come up for this question. I've been thinking about this question and this card since I was putting my daughter to sleep. As you can see, this individual is suspended by ribbons from the doves. This card is essentially asking for a little bit of help until you're on your feet. In the sense of this question, it may be the fact of that you might need to read books in the genre that you're interested in writing, reading books for the audience you're interested in writing, for example, young adult, children's, whatever. This also might indicate that you might need a couple of people, if you haven't already, that are basically your beta readers. They'll go through, proofread, give you critiques, anything to help your writing along. So if that's not something you've been doing, might not be a bad idea to look for a little bit of help, essentially, until you can obviously get on your feet with your novel and feel comfortable with where it's going. It won't be needing help forever, of course, so... This card is interesting because my first thought of it was perhaps doing a little bit of divination on your own for your novel. Like if you get stuck in a plot point, maybe pull a couple of cards that might help you figure out where to go or how to get started on something. I'm going to actually have to look this one up a little bit too because I feel like I'm missing something from it. Essentially, this is also speaking of basically believe your intuition. If you feel something isn't properly written and you feel like it needs improvement, obviously go for that choice. Next is what will help you succeed, and then I'm going to do another question of what obstacles will you face that will try to keep you from succeeding. Try not to be so loud when doing that, but this desk is like solid wood. It's actually my husband's desk. It's not meant for computers either, it's a writing desk. This is what will help you succeed. This, to me, is essentially a balancing act. As you can see, if my camera will autofocus onto this, and this person is holding up a woman with a hula hoop. And it almost looks like he's balancing it, or they're balancing it on the back of their neck. So I feel this card is about balancing. And also support. This also speaks of bearing the weight of others. Essentially, I think this card ties in with the last card of asking for help. This one also speaks of you needing support to get through the rough draft. This might mean in the help of, again, beta writers. This might also just mean friends or family who support your writing, who won't mind to read it as well and just kind of give off friendly critique, even though sometimes friendly critique is not as helpful as constructive criticism. But this card is talking about how you might need the support of a writing community to keep you motivated. Back up in here. This card simply represents up. What this card means is that even if you hit the lowest point you can reach in this novel, the best direction you can go is up. Keeping a positive mind, realizing that no matter what kind of situation you get into, what kind of things you get stuck with, the only way to go from there is up. Meaning if you end up needing to, or if you have a breakdown over the writing or something like that, then realize that the only direction you can go from there is up, and it will help you keep motivated on your journey of finishing this rough draft. And this last question is, what obstacles will try to keep you from succeeding? This card often speaks about connections, and this might mean that you might have trouble finding people who might be interested in this novel. It may also mean that you might have problems with contacting like a publisher or an agent or an editor or something of that sort. It might also mean that people want more of your time rather than allowing you to dedicate it to writing. And I'm not saying you need to isolate yourself at all. That's totally not the point of that. It just means that maybe people don't realize that you do need to put some time and effort into your writing rather than like going out constantly or constantly having conversations. Just maybe you need to set some time for yourself in order to get through this rough draft. And we have the shifting card. This might be something of an idea that is possibly trying to interrupt your writing, that maybe you don't feel like the idea you're going for is working anymore, and it might mean that you're wanting to try to shift it away from that original idea, which may not necessarily be a good thing. I mean, it might not be a bad thing, but it is an obstacle you're going to have to face and overcome, and it will be something you'll have to decide for yourself on whether or not it would be helpful to you or if it would hinder you, I guess is the right word. So essentially that's all I can really offer for your rough draft. As a creative writing student, I do think it is very important to do as one of these cards spoke and go through and read books read books for the audience you're planning to write for. Read books in the genre you're wanting to write. For example, if you're wanting to write like horror, then possibly read some Stephen King books or any other horror author out there. If you're wanting to write for young adults, it'd probably be best to go out and read books for young adults, that sort of thing. Which is honestly advice I need to listen to for myself, but... So if you like reading, those would be some things I would offer, or suggest. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me over Tumblr, feel free to send me an email. Both of those links will be listed down in the description below, as well as a link to my Facebook page. Well, that's it.